Since COVID-19 is a fairly recent virus that has overtaken the world, our understanding of it and its complications is still under development. What we have seen is a correlation between COVID-19 and obesity. In particular, the COVID-19 related mortality risk is significantly higher in people with both obesity and type 2 diabetes, where the mortality risk is 1.5 to 3 times higher. And again, we're still kind of collecting information on this, so those numbers might change in the next little while. So while it has been seen in individuals with obesity and type 2 diabetes that there is this higher risk, obesity has also been identified as potentially an independent risk factor, independent of insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. In one study, they found that each unit increase in BMI was associated with a 13% increase in risk of severe COVID-19. So it's quite an important area of focus, especially again if you guys are going to be working with populations with obesity these days. So again, because it's a newer area of understanding, research is still being done and data being collected. So we don't exactly know what is the mechanism linking kind of these negative outcomes we see in COVID-19 to obesity. It could have to do with the compromised respiratory capacity that is seen in obesity. Even the structural differences of having that larger fat mass can impact lung function. Plus, of course, we see higher inflammation in obesity, and some of that inflammation can be localized in the lung too, compromising lung function. We know that leptin secretion increases in obesity and adiponectin secretion decreases. And we have seen that this pattern leads to dysregulation of natural killer cell activities, which are immune cells that could potentially help us fight the virus. So a compromised immune system might be part of the link as well. Okay, perhaps it's an aggressive inflammatory response, which leads to too many complications. It doesn't lead to a necessary resolution of the virus and its effects, but more kind of aggressive outcomes, more negative outcomes. Okay. It has also been proposed that white adipose tissue is a potential reservoir for COVID-19 to stay in the body and cause more damage. In particular, WAT expresses a particular protein that can be an entry place for the virus, for it to like hang out and hide in adipose tissue. Okay. There's also been a lot of interest in the linkage between vitamin D and COVID-19 prognosis. Still, it's not clear. Things aren't clear as of the shooting of this video as far as vitamin D's specific relationship with COVID-19. But we do see some evidence to support that individuals that are deficient for vitamin D having a higher risk of poor outcomes from COVID. Vitamin D has been known to have effects on adipokine secretion and the immune system, and this might be part of the linkage there. It could also partly explain why we see higher rates of COVID-19 in African American communities because they tend to be at a higher risk for vitamin D deficiency because of the darker skin and less of a synthesis process that's occurring due to ultraviolet light stimulation. But there's more than one reason why it's higher in Black communities, and of course socioeconomic reasons factor into that as well. But the whole point of this section was just to show that association between obesity and worse outcomes, morbidity and mortality from COVID-19, and to suggest possible mechanisms, but we're still really uncovering that, and we'll see where the data leads us on this one.